Okay, so recently here on YouTube, I posted a video with the official announcement of a new podcast that I am going to be starting in the new year. Now, I hadn't planned on posting any content regarding it until January, when I really started ramping up work on it and getting everything organized. But today offered up way too much of a opportunity for me to kind of go on a rant. So I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a sense of what you'll be noticing with this new podcast. As I said in the last video, everything on this is going to be completely unscripted. I may have some notes on some stuff like statistics or something like that, but everything is going to be unscripted. I'm not going to be working off a script. So that's going to make this really cool. I'm going to be talking in this particular one about the New York Jets, who just lost to Cincinnati Bengals. So this is going to be fun. I didn't mention in the first video is that while this doesn't have an official title yet, the working title is Outspoken. So whether or not that winds up being the official title is something else. But for now, let's give it a shot and give you a sneak peek of kind of what you'll be seeing with this new podcast. Check it out. So, it astounds me to no end what this New York Jets team is fully capable of this year. I thought we couldn't hit another low point, but it just continues to get worse. I've hardly watched football since we lost to Miami Dolphins, a team that had entered that week undefeated and was desperately trying to stay undefeated so they could get the number one pick. They traded away half their team, and yet somehow the Jets were the team that gave them their first win. The New York freaking Jets. Yet some fans got hopeful. I don't know why. Some fans got hopeful the past few weeks because we beat horrible teams in the NFL. We beat the Washington Redskins, the New York Giants, and the Oakland Raiders. All teams that have not done the greatest this year. And we put up 34 points against every single one of them. So fans thought that this week would be different. We entered this game at a 4-7 record, with our only other win coming against the Dallas Cowboys. Another team that's now having a great year, but you know what? At that point, they hadn't been doing horrible. But the Jets always take it to another level. What makes the season so much worse is we have a head coach who, before he got hired, no one wanted him. No one. He was the head coach of Miami Dolphins last few years. He got fired last season, and every Jets fan was unanimous in their lack of desire to have him as a head coach. He was at the bottom of every single person's list. I have yet to see a Jets fan who actually wanted this guy, Adam Gase, to be our head coach this year. Not one. But yet, here he is. He got hired, even though people wanted, Matt Rule for a head coach. I personally would have liked Matt McCarthy. But at the end of the day, we got stuck with this bum who has never proven himself in the NFL. People say he's a quarterback whisperer because he worked with Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning was already amazing. And he got one good year out of Jay Cutler. And so he is the quarterback whisperer. He couldn't make Jay Cutler an actual great quarterback. No, that wouldn't have been possible. He couldn't have coached Ryan Tannehill, his quarterback, for his tenure of the with the Miami Dolphins into a good quarterback. No, he rides off the coattails of Peyton Manning, who by the time he had met him, he was already a superstar. And one could argue was on the decline at that point. Although his numbers that year don't really argue it. It was coming off of an injury, and he still did good. But that's how we're gonna judge Adam Gase? Like, legit. Are you absolutely kidding me right now? This is legit an absolute, utter joke that we hired this guy in the first place. So flash forward to after the Giants game. Giants came the week after we lost to the Miami Dolphins in a completely lackluster performance, and where we just looked flat, as we have most of this entire year. I gave Adam Gase I gave him slack at the beginning of the year, because the first game we should have won easily. We were up 16-0 and lost 17-16 to the Buffalo Bills. There's no way that should have happened. He became way too complacent. He couldn't call a play to save his life, and we failed miserably. The next couple games I don't put on him, because he had his second string quarterback, who actually knew the offense, get hurt in the second game. His first game starting as a New York Jet. That's Trevor Siemian. And then we had to bring in Luke Falk. However you pronounce it. I think it's Falk. And he didn't know the offense or anything, so they had to do a completely plain down lemon vanilla version of the offense. And there's not much you can work with. But Sam Darnold came back to place those Eagles, and we failed miserably. Our offense looked just as bad as it did from the second half of that Bills game on. So we look completely flat once again. Come out after the Dolphins and face the Giants, and we put up 34 points offensively. The first time this year we've actually looked like a team offensively. So what do the Jets do? At that point, we were 2-7 after that game. So what is the logical thing to do? Announce that your head coach is coming back the next season. No chance of him getting fired. That's an absolutely another joke for this organization, which is run by incompetent fools. I'm sorry, Woody Johnson is just as bad as Christopher Johnson. And if he was over in the States instead of being one of Trump's advisors or ambassadors over in the UK, it would be very clear that he doesn't know how to run this football team either. But Christopher Johnson is a complete and utter failure as a football owner. Both brothers should just sell this team right now, because this is an absolute joke that they keep putting Jet fans through. But he comes out. We will not be making any coaching changes at the head coach position, either now or after this season. Like, really? This guy's done nothing. He's lost 7 of the 9 games he's coached at that point, and with this team, after doing absolutely nothing in Miami. And you're gonna announce that he's definitely coming back. There's no chance you're gonna fire him. It's crazy that we went on a win streak after that. But to take that into account, we just had a string, including this Bengals game, of playing 5 of the worst teams in the NFL for this season. Dolphins, Giants, Redskins, Raiders, Bengals. And we came out of it 2-3. This is a stretch we should have gone 5-0 out of. 5-0, and instead we get 2-3. 3-2, sorry, 3-2. That's my bad. It's absolutely ridiculous. And 2 of those teams during this stretch came into the game against the New York Jets completely winless. The Bengals entered this week 0-11 on this season. They've got nothing going. They put up 22 points against us. The last 3 games each, Jets scored 34 points per game. How many do they score in this game? They don't even get a touchdown. They got 6 points. They came out flat once again against the team with the worst record in the entire football league. This is an absolute joke, and they're going to say, oh, Adam Gase is a great coach. Come on. Jet fans are tired of this team. We're tired of a coach who is completely incompetent and doesn't know how to coach in the football league. We had it with Rex Ryan. We had it with Todd Bowles. We have it now with Adam Gase. At least with the other two, it was their first time as a head coach. Adam Gase has been here before. We knew what we had with him. But yet, the Jets just continued to dig themselves into a hole. And they don't care about what their fans think. They don't care about what happens on that football field. As long as they get money. To them, this isn't a football team. It's a moneymaker. And they will do whatever it takes to get more and more money. Except put a competent team and coaching staff out on that field. This is a team, we don't have the greatest team ever. Coming into this team, we had what was supposed to be an upgraded offensive line. It has been horrible all season. We had a wide receiver team that I thought was going to be really cool. Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa, Jamison Crowder. And then we brought in Demaryius Thomas. I thought that combination of receivers would be really cool. We have a young quarterback just drafted last year who we keep saying is supposed to be the face of this New York Jets franchise, who right now is regressing under this quarterback whisperer of a coach. One positive I'll take out of today's game, he didn't throw an interception. Thank God for that. But he is not progressing the way he should under a quarterback whisperer. And I got to question Adam Gase's game planning here too. All year long, his top receiver has been Jamison Crowder. He leads the team in receptions with, I believe, 57 receptions. He leads the team in yards with 588, I believe. And then in this game, he gets 2 receptions for 8 yards. How do you so poorly utilize this guy? Now, to put that a little bit into perspective, one could argue, oh, maybe they ran the ball a lot. Le'Veon Bell, our lead ball carrier, ran the ball 10 times today. 10 times for 30-something yards. Sam Darnold threw almost 50 passes, 48 passes from the arm of Sam Darnold, 24 of which were completed, which gets a completion rating of 50%. Out of those 24 passes, 2 went to our top receiver. I wouldn't say top receiver because I think Robbie Anderson is a better receiver, but our top reception getter and top yards man for this season. Robbie Anderson got a ton today. 7 receptions for 101 yards. I'm glad he had a good game. But how do you completely game plan out your top, the guy that has been your top guy all year long? How do you do that and expect to win? How do you can't even freaking score a touchdown in this game. How do you expect to win a game like that? But this guy is supposed to be the offensive genius, the offensive mastermind, an offensive guru is what he's hailed as. But against a team that had yet to put up a win out of their previously 11 games, we can't even put up one measly touchdown. I mean, it's not a surprise. Like, honestly, I'm surprised the Jets won the past few games after they lost to the Miami Dolphins in the fashion they did. Because let's be real, after they lost the way they did, they should have just lost out. Like, legit, they have nothing going. They had nothing going for them at that point. But they gave their fans hope by actually winning 3 in a row. Something that I told people was going to happen. Before the Miami Dolphins game came in, I had people telling me the Jets should just lose out at that point, including the Dolphins game, just to get the top pick. And I told them that there was no chance the New York Jets would get the top pick, because the Jets can never do anything right. I will never root for my team to lose. Never. I will always root for my team to win, even if it means we lose positioning on a draft pick. Because I don't believe in draft picks. Draft picks are unknowns until we really get to see them come August, September on that football field. Until then, it is literally just a crapshoot. One of the best quarterbacks of all time, and many argue that he is the greatest quarterback of all time. You know where he got drafted? Tom Brady. You know where he got drafted? He got drafted in like the 6th round. Was it the 6th round? Maybe even later. He did not get drafted up top. Draft stock is overrated. I believe in proven talent, which is not draft picks. So I will never, ever root for one of my teams to lose out so we can get a better draft pick. I would always prefer to see my team on that football field winning. But there are some do not share the same philosophy as me. Some believe in the value of a draft pick and wanted the Jets to get that high draft pick, which is okay. I understand where you're coming from. But I told them that the Jets will never get that top draft pick, because the Jets always find a way to screw whatever they're aiming for up. If their goal was to make the playoffs, they screwed that up by losing to the frickin' Dolphins. And at that point, maybe their focus should have been getting that draft pick. But then I went on and won 3 straight games. And that lost all hope of us getting a top draft pick. We have 4 wins. So at that point, try. And then we come out against another undefeated team in the Cincinnati Bengals, and we freaking lose 22-6. This team is an absolute joke. Like, I can't put into enough words. I can't express enough times how much of a joke this team is. It's a joke watching Adam Gase. Not that I've been even watching, but it's a joke seeing Adam Gase go out there and coach and not even try as a head coach, which is what he's been doing his entire coaching career as a head coach. He did not try in Miami. He has not tried at all this year. But he's guaranteed for next year because our ownership is completely incompetent of running a National Football League team. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. This is a disgrace. And it shows why until the Johnsons sell this team, it shows why this team will continue to be mediocre at best. Even when we made those playoff runs in 2009, 2010 under Rex Ryan, we couldn't win it all. That would require way too much. That would require owners who actually care and know what they're doing. we got lucky. We had a subpar quarterback. We had a bad coach. But we had a top-notch defense. Especially our secondary with Darrelle Revis in his prime. Antonio Cromartie back when he was still pretty good. Our offense didn't do much. Mark Sanchez threw so many interceptions back then. It wasn't our offense. It wasn't our coaching, because a lot of people will admit Rex Ryan was a bad coach. He was a great defensive mind. Don't get me wrong. He was a good defensive coordinator. I would love to have him as the defensive coordinator. But he's not a good head coach. We haven't had a good head coach in a very long time. And as long as our owners keep accepting mediocrity, that will continue to be the case.